Americans, give it up for my friend and yours, Mrs. Jason Bunch. We got Bin Laden! Give it up for our military! We got his ass! We got Bin Laden!
I know what you're all thinking. You're like, damn, Jason, we appreciate the enthusiasm, but that shit happened a while ago. We gotta understand something, people. My internet connection is extremely slow. But answer me this. Why is it that our government can hunt down and kill Osama bin Laden, but our intelligence community still has no idea where in the world Carmen Sandiego is? That slippery bitch. I tell you what, if bin Laden had been smart, he'd disguise himself as a black Romney voter. They'd still be looking for his ass right now. You know, there's some people out there that don't even think we got bin Laden. Those people that believe any hoax. You know those people, conspiracy theorists. We all know one. Hell, my dad's one of them. He's so hardcore, not only does he think the moon landing was staged, he thinks the Mayflower landing was faked. According to him, we were all really just placed here by a bunch of space aliens as part of some big intergalactic game of Farmville. The Big Bang was just a bunch of Klingons figuring out the controls for angry birds, according to him. But not me, though. As far as I'm concerned, the Pilgrims landed here, much to the chagrin of the Indians. I mean, I'd like to know who negotiated that deal. So, yeah, you give us all your land, and in return, we're going to give you alcoholism, disease, and a shitty baseball team in Cleveland. Let's shake. Sounds good. They suck, you know it. I'm just kidding. I usually reserve that for the Cub fans, but I'm trying to be nice. Sometimes people ask me, because I get kind of a dark tan sometimes, and people ask me if I'm part Native American. But I'd like to just set the record straight. I'm not Native American. However, I do pay one on my taxes. Which is right around the corner. Last tax season was great. I got a big fat refund. Used it to buy the most sensible thing I could think of. A gigantic big screen TV. Because I am a TV junkie, all right? TV is my heroin. The remote control is my syringe. I love TV. I'll watch damn near anything on TV. Anything except for NASCAR. For the life of me, I cannot understand people's fascination with NASCAR. Yeah, exactly. If I really want to watch objects go round and round in a continuous circle, I'll go in the bathroom and flush my fucking toilet. Thank you very much. But unfortunately, to get my fix every month, I gotta pay DirecTV. So I don't do it like normal people. I don't do it online. I have to do it by phone every month. That way, I'm guaranteed at least one conversation with a live person every month. I was paying it the other day, and I was talking to the operator. She's a real nice lady, the DirecTV operator, just not the sharpest knife in the drawer. She's getting my information down, and we get to the part about my birthday, so I tell her 1/4/79. She says back to me, is that 1979? I was like, no, it's 1879. I'm 130 years old. The whole reason I get your service is so I can sit around all day watching the History Channel, fact-checking their asses. It's like, lady, you might want to just hang on to that Mensa application a wee bit longer. Maybe save that postage. Oh, and the thing about DirecTV that blows my mind the most, I cannot understand this. On all the pay-per-view channels, the pornos are listed above the family movies. Whose great idea was this? So if you're not, you're trying to rent something for your kids to watch, and if you're a little nearsighted or you're not paying much attention, you might think they're Finding Nemo and they're really fondling nymphos, for God's sake. But if you ask me, though, kids, they spend too much time watching TV nowadays anyway. They need to spend more fun. They need to do more creative things with their spare time, like board games, right? Remember those antiques we all grew up with, board games? And thank God they put all the classics out years ago, because if you tried putting some of those out brand new today, oh, forget about it. You wouldn't be able to do it. Like, take, for example, the game of life. Great family fun game, right? Oh, no, nowadays, though, you couldn't put that game out. It's too PC now. You couldn't call it the game of life. It'd have to be called the game of pro-choice. And to make things as modern as possible, all the gay couples would have to go further on the board to find a square that recognizes same-sex marriage. Just how it is nowadays. I love that game Battleship, though. Oh, my God, that was my favorite, Battleship. Remember that before it was a horrible movie with Rihanna? Remember that game, Battleship? And then they had to really outdo themselves with Talking Battleship. The freaking game talked to you, for God's sake. I was 9 years old living it up like Elroy fucking Jetson with this thing. It was so fucking cool to me. And then all that fun had to come to an end one morning. Right after the computer sank my destroyer, my mom happened to be walking by and overheard it ask me if I wanted to buy any weed, which I did. So that thing ended up in the garbage. Last I heard, it was doing 15 to 20 up in Attica for trying to push some pure white china on an undercover, but the game box and the instruction manual are still at large. As a reward, $29.95 plus tax, if anyone sees it. What's the most popular kid game of all time? Someone yell it out. Most popular kid game. Candyland. There we go. Yeah. Candyland. Now, thank God that was put out years ago, because nowadays, with all the filth on TV and the reality shows, that wouldn't even be a kid game if it were new today. It would be an adult game, right? Instead of Candyland, they would be calling it Nose Candyland. Yeah, you would either play as Lindsay Lohan or Lindsay Lohan's nostrils. And the object of the game would be to go around the board as many times as you can, trying to collect as much cocaine as humanly possible. Through theft, gambling, sexual gratifications, it doesn't matter. But there's a trick. The game has no end square. So the players just go on in a continuous circle of insanity, much like Lindsay Lohan's real life. And the only way a player can get out of the game is to shoot yourself in the head with the handgun provided inside the box. Batteries and bullets not included. Most popular game of all time. Like, most popular of all time. Someone yell it out. I know you all knows. Monopoly. There we go. Monopoly. Remember when the only version of Monopoly you could get was Monopoly? Nowadays, everything has a Monopoly. Twilight Monopoly. Star Wars Monopoly. Hell, there's even a Roots Monopoly, for God's sake. Oh, that one's real fun. When you go past Go, you get 40 acres and a mule. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of educational. I'm waiting till they finally run out of every single idea and they're forced to put out Monopoly, the STD edition. That is a TV commercial I want to see. The family at the table, dad's got the dice in his hands. Oh, give me herpes! Give me herpes! Oh, sorry, Dad, but you landed on chlamydia, which I contracted 4 rounds ago. And I see I got 3 open sores. You're going to owe me $50K for my visits to the clinic. But tell you what, Dad, because I see you're a little short on cash there, we'll make a deal. Give me your elephantitis of the penis, and we'll call it even. I'm originally from Quincy. Grew up here. Thank you. I've been living the last decade in Florida, or Little Cuba, as I like to call it. And it's funny because I was just thinking the other day I was talking to my neighbor in Orlando before I came here, and I was just remarking too about how the weather was too perfect and I wasn't freezing my balls off enough. So thank you, Quincy. Thank you for accomplishing that for me. I appreciate it. It's great. But as the host mentioned earlier, I did write and direct a movie, a little independent sketch comedy movie called Blunt Movie, and we were able to get a few celebrities in it. We got Michael Winslow from Police Academy, Angie Everhart, we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Dennis Rodman, and my favorite person I got to work with was the late, great Pat Morita. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Pat Morita. Now, for my older crowd out there, now you guys would know Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. And my younger crowd, You would know Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. It was a lot of fun to work. We shot a parody that we wrote together of the Karate Kid where he plays his Mr. Miyagi character, and it is the funniest goddamn thing you'll ever see. He's training a midget to fight in this parody we shot. It was the most insane thing ever, and it was so much fun. And then I also got to work with one of my favorite people, being a lifelong Bulls fan. Working with Dennis Rodman, like I was real excited about that, but at the same time, I also know he's a little fucking crazy, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect that first day. And you know, I remember we were all set up, we're ready to shoot. We're shooting a fake law ad. He's playing a lawyer, which I thought was ironic. He's wearing this nice suit, standing in front of this cage that has a like 600 pound white Bengal tiger in it for the backdrop, just off to the side. As soon as I yell action, this Bengal tiger turns right around, lifts his ass right up, and just starts pissing all over the side of Dennis Rodman in this suit. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm yelling cut, I'm freaking out. I'm like, he's going to be so mad. He's going to be pissed off, literally. And this just ruined the whole shoot. And then it hits me. I'm like, wait a minute. This is Dennis Rodman we're talking about, king of the freaks, for God's sake. He probably enjoyed it. He probably pays good money for golden showers from white Bengal tigers on the weekends, for God's sake. If I remember correctly, after that incident, he started referring to the tiger as Madonna, for whatever reason that meant. I don't know what that was all about, but they exchanged emails afterwards, so that was nice. But directed a movie, I mean, that was a lot of fun. It was, you know, it was great, because I know I've definitely had some shit jobs in my life. The first one I had when I moved to Orlando was probably the worst job I've ever had. It was working at a pizza place. And it wasn't even the pizza place that made it so bad. What made it so terrible was what was next door to the pizza joint. Because next door to us was the dirtiest, filthiest strip club that Satan could possibly conjure up in the deepest, darkest part of his mind. I mean, this place was so filthy, you would not wish a lap dance on your worst enemy. That's how bad this place was. And I couldn't help but notice that every time I got an order I had to take next door, the strippers always paid with $1 bills. Now, I'm not stupid. I know exactly where that money had been before it got into my pretty little fingers. It was wristwatch deep inside Sasha the freaking human coin purse before I got it. Yeah, it's a real sanitizing feeling that comes over you. I'd get the money and I'd be like, damn, I don't remember George Washington having that mustache. Or that bloody nose. Yeah, that's the groaning part of the show right there. I had to quit that job. It just got way too embarrassing getting my tips tested for gonorrhea every weekend. It's way too embarrassing. But, you know, right now things are just so bad with the economy and all that. And it's funny, I went to that new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie the other night, and it got me thinking. I was like, you know, the economy's bad, and that affects like pretty much every profession, every line of work, right? So what if these serial killers that you see in these movies, what if they were real? Like, the bad economy would have to affect them too, right? Like, hear me out here. For example, all right, like, you can't pay the mortgage, you know, you can't find a job, you're tossing and turning all night, you can't fall asleep. If you can't sleep, you can't dream. If you can't dream, then Freddy Krueger can't come and murder your ass, for God's sake. He has nothing to do all day but snort blow and crystal and freaking thumb wrestle Edward Scissorhands, for God's sake. I mean, it gets, like imagine Halloween night, right? Michael Myers breaks into a house. He's walking down some long, dark hallway. He's got that big-ass meat cleaver in his hand, just aching to stab some babysitter right in the taint. And what do you know? The place has been foreclosed on. No one's even lived there in months. I mean, how pathetic is that? You got Michael Myers sitting in some empty living room, pleasuring himself into his own mask on Halloween. Waste of a perfectly good murder boner, if you ask me, for God's sake. And then you can't afford camping gear right now. No one can afford to go camping. So you got hockey mask Jason Voorhees out there in Camp Crystal Lake. Nobody to kill. He gets so desperate, he's got to start resorting to these, you know, catch a predator, dateline tactics, you know, going on Craigslist and posting fake blowjob ads just to lure out pedophiles.
I swear I'm a 12-year-old girl. Meet me in the woods, cabin number 2. Oh, and
bring some weed and Subway. And then the worst one, they always want weed and Subway for some reason. I don't know why. The worst one out of all of them, though, is that little puppet from the Saw movies, that little murdering puppet from the Saw movies. Things get so bad for him that, he can't afford these big warehouses and shit anymore. So to keep from going homeless, the only place that'll take him in are all the other puppets on Sesame Street. Can you imagine this little murdering puppet on Sesame Street, how that shit would go?
Hello, Big Bird. I'd like to play a game. Around your neck is an explosive device. An explosive device set to detonate in 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds using only an old rusty pair of tweezers soaked in LSD to remove the key inside Snuffleupagus' rectum. Do you have what it takes, Big Bird? Do you have what it takes to rip apart your mentally retarded elephant friend's asshole? Live or die, Big Bird. Live or die.
Thank you all very much. That is my time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for fun, everybody. Big round of applause. I'm from Florida, from America's way.